Yeah.
Let me ask you, you were kind of involved in getting high school football guys back on the field. So in going into this decision and now working towards 5 weeks away before they put guys on the field, your feeling of whether or not the time frame of this matches for the safety of players to go back on the field in the Big Ten?
Well, 5 weeks from now is a long time in this pandemic. So I think it's really hard to say where we're going to be from a disease transmission and a disease activity point 5 weeks from now. But I think giving us 5 to plan with the university and with the community is good. We've got a lot of messaging to get out to the public, and we've got time to plan appropriately for the kickoff of college football.
What concerns you most about everybody now in an uproar? Yay, football's back. What concerns you most about Big Ten football being back in Columbus?
Well, traditionally, we know Columbus is a great football town. We love our team and we love to support them. And I do worry that with football returning, this will mean we could have more mass gatherings. And we know those mass gathering events can be a source of spread of the virus. Some people like to call it super spreader events. So I do worry whether people are trying to do some kind of tailgating, whether they're gathering in bars or having parties in their own home. Will this increase the opportunities for the virus to spread in our community?
When you say you've got to get messaging out, what's your messaging going to be?
Well, I had an opportunity to review some of the guidance that the Big Ten put out. And one of the things that I think is very striking is the determination to play is going to not only be based on the positivity rate among the team and the coaches, but it's also going to be based among the positivity rate of our community. So if our community isn't effective in getting numbers to the right level, we could see the end of OSU football. So the message has to be loud and clear to every member of our community. This is just as much about the team as it is about our behavior.
That messaging is going to go out how? Does this end up being ads that we're going to do on TV, put on radio? How much of an effort do you have? Because in the excitement level of having football back, there has to be that more heightened fear or at least concern on your behalf or on the medical behalf of what this is going to bring.
Right. So I'm just in the guidance for the first time this morning. I've been in conversation with OSU about the probability of having football from back in the summer. So I think we've got a good starting point, but we have to work together to figure out what that messaging is and how we will distribute that messaging.
No fans, no public sale of tickets, but there will be a working program on getting family members into the games. Your feeling about that plan?
Well, that's something we talked about with OSU early on before there was a decision to delay football. So, I think it's something we're going to have to continue to work with OSU about how we keep even that small fan base or family members who want to watch the game, how we keep them safe collectively.
What happens in bars and memorabilia shops and restaurants as we get prepped? Because this is now a 180 on everybody who was dealing in OSU football was dead, and now they have come back to life. What does that mean downtown in that area?
Well, I hope for the business owners, they see this as potentially a lifeline that will hopefully increase some of their revenue for 2020. But we all have to remember, we still have to follow the social distance guidance. We still have to wear face masks. We still have to do everything we've been doing now while enjoying football in these establishments.
My understanding is they're going to do antigen tests on players so that they can get quick comeback. Antigen test seems to be the one, including the false positive on Governor DeWine, that we have been most concerned about? Your feeling about doing antigen tests in Big Ten?
Well, I would just say, I haven't read all the literature on antigen testing, but I will say there are different types of antigen testing. And I have a lot of confidence in my colleagues at OSU, as well as the other medical experts in the Big Ten, that the antigen test they're using has a very good positivity rate and will be effective in identifying cases if need be.
21 days if you test positive before you can come back to the football field. Longer than any CDC guidelines. You're feeling on a 21-day timeout, as it were.
Again, that's news to me. I'm hearing this for the first time. So I think it's the very, what I would like to say, conservative approach. So erring on the side of extreme caution. And so I like that approach. And hopefully that will motivate these players to follow the rules, make sure they're wearing a mask, and avoid getting exposure to this virus.
How much, what's the word I use? How much burden does this now put on athletes above and beyond who they are on campus already as now leaders in this fight against COVID-19?
Well, I would say it's not a burden. I mean, I think they have to realize that they are leaders. They've been leaders on the field for many years as an athlete. And so now they need to also be leaders in the community, and they need to model the behavior that public health has been encouraging people to model into practice for really the last 6 months. And they need to do that, and they need to set an example for everyone else.
We are looking at an 8-game schedule plus one, talking about first playing first, second playing second, third playing third, fourth playing fourth. So a 9-game schedule before we head into what would be the college football playoffs. We can't be in anything more fluid than what we are in right now, but what's your feeling about the possibility of completing a college football season?
Well, again, I'm trying to be optimistic, and I like to believe that if our players and our coaches behave appropriately, follow the public health guidance, and do what they need to do, that they will continue to be safe and continue to play. But we can't deny the fact that a lot of the burden in this plan has to do with the community as well. So we need to do our best from a community level, from a fan base, to keep our community levels low so that they can continue to play as well. And I hope that behavior will be replicated in all of the universities in the Big Ten so they can complete their season.
What's your feeling about where we are? Because I can ask you this just about every day as to where Ohio is. How are you feeling about where we are on the curve right now?
Well, Ohio, the 4% positivity rate is doing better than many other states, even some right here in the Midwest. So I'm proud of that. Franklin County, unfortunately, is higher than the state. We're seeing more cases than many others around the state. So that is concerning, and something that I've been telling all of the residents and everyone we need to be mindful of, and we need to make sure we're following all the public health guidelines. But hey, we can't lie. We are worried about what happens when flu season really hits. And will there be a convergence of flu and COVID-19? How will that impact the community? How will it impact our hospitals? So now more than ever, we all need to get vaccinated against the flu, and we need to do everything we can to reduce the spread of the flu and reduce the spread of COVID-19. So one, we can see our football team play on Saturdays, and two, we can all be healthy and safe.
There's no guarantees on any of this at this point. I suppose even as you look at it now, we've got a date set, but there's a possibility that the way things go, we don't open the Big Ten season on October 23rd, 24th.
Absolutely. And again, I sound like a broken record, but that's why it's so important that all the residents of Columbus, Franklin County, and Central Ohio do everything they can to reduce the spread of this disease so that our community numbers don't impact our team's ability to get back on the field.
You're all set. I know you got other stuff to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take
Good
care.
good to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks.